Hi good people from all around the world, and welcome back to Valheim. In today's video I'll be coming up with a theory or multiple theories as to why the Eldner is not in the Ashlands update. As you guys know, early on in the concept art there was a bunch of different weapons of the Nidhogg and the Slayer and the Berserkir axes and a bunch of stuff, and there was the Eldner right next to it. And there was blank, there was no weapon shown, but in text it showed Eldner. And a lot of people were thinking that it was going to be basically the fire version of the frostner, and but we never got that for the Ashlands update. And to my knowledge, it's never been explained why. Maybe it was just something that they changed their mind on, or maybe they're saving it for the end of the Deep North update. I don't know why they didn't do it for sure, but one of the theories I have is because they realized during the Ashlands update that the Deep North was going to be the next update, and fire and blunt was going to be really effective in the Deep North. So they decided not to do that because they realized it was going to be too OP. Now, some people might think, okay, but there's the Staff of Embers, and the Staff of Embers has blunt and fire just like the Eldner likely would be. But this was made way back in the Mistlands update. Back then, the Deep North was this very distant concept. They were working on the Mistlands at the time when they made this. They had two other full biomes to think about and do before they got, or at least one full more biome to do. If you count Mistlands, it's two. If you don't count Mistlands, then it's just one. But basically, they had at least one full biome to think about before they did the Deep North. So this was already pre-existing when they were working on the Ashlands update. So they probably figured, okay, we already have this, why not just make another one that has blunt fire, it's no big deal. Whereas there's no other class of weapon that does blunt and fire. There's no melee weapon, no ranged weapon, no other weapon that does blunt and fire. So they probably figured, okay, we can at least not have it for melee where it can do blunt and fire, which would be too effective in the Deep North. And maybe early on in the Deep North you get melee armor that protects you against the cold, but maybe you don't get magic armor right away. So maybe that will force you to not use magic. This is just theories as to why. I'm still disappointed that we didn't get the Eldner, because Frostner is one of my favorite weapons in Valheim. Unfortunately, it's not really, even in the Ashlands, it's still usable, but it's such an iconic, great weapon. I've loved this weapon for a long time. It was been one of my favorites. So I was hoping for like a really cool fire weapon. Now, one of the other things you guys are probably thinking about is the Durnwind. Now, I've struggled to find a way to pronounce it. I think Durnwind is how to pronounce it. Basically, it's a flaming sword, but the fire damage on that is very low. It's like 10 fire damage, whereas opposed to the Staff of Embers, which does 12 times that, or 10, 12, yeah. Um, but the fire damage that the Durnwind has is very, very little. It's mostly slash damage, and it might help keep you warm and stuff during the Deep North. I don't know how the game mechanics are going to be, so I still think even though it's not that much fire damage, some people said even a torch does more fire damage than the Durnwind, which I don't know for sure, but I do know it's a small amount of elemental damage. But so but it has slash, which is not going to do as good probably against the Deep North enemies. I imagine blunt will do more damage because there'll be the seals, there'll be all different types of other ones that I think are more likely to be blunt, weak to blunt. But that's just my theory about the Deep North and why we didn't get the Eldner. If you guys have any theories or explanations to why the Eldner was not in the Ashlands update, you let me know down below in the comments. Maybe there's an article or something I didn't notice or read or something that explained why they didn't do the Eldner. But at any rate, thank you guys for watching. I hope you all have a good day. Bye, everybody.